皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today I am going to have to share with you a very sad story. I should say it's a very sad story that I recently heard from my Iaido instructor, my Iaido master. I really wanted to share this story with you because it's something that I am especially recently seriously thinking about because I really want to be able to teach on traditional martial arts, Japanese Budo in the future. And I believe many of you who are listening to my podcast or my main channel are also Budo practitioners, trainees. And also, even if you're not a Budo practitioner, I think it's a problem that might often happen in other things too. So I just wanted to really hear your opinion about this and also share what I thought, yes. So the story is my Iaido instructor, my Iaido master, my sensei is actually 6th dan in Iaido, but he's actually 8th dan in karate. He originally is a karate trainee. When he was in his 3rd dan, he started Iaido. Yes. So for karate, he does kyokushin karate. So that's more of the actual combat kind of karate type. And when he was in his 3rd dan, sorry, this is my the story of my master is going to start from before we get to our main topic. But anyways, if I can quickly introduce him, when he was in his 3rd dan, he was a really, what should I say, a leading athlete in his team. I guess you can say he was very, very strong. But at some point, he couldn't grow any from there. He kind of, what should I say, hit a wall. Yes. And he didn't know what it was. He was the one, practicing the most. He was the one, punching the mat, what's that? Not the mats. I mean, I guess it's the mats or, more training and everyone else. And he just couldn't understand why there were some people that he couldn't defeat or he couldn't win in some of the games. Yes. And then he started to realize that it was probably his, what should I say, his calmness or his mind. He realized himself that his mind wasn't mature enough. So that's the reason why he wanted to do something that's very, very different from the Kyokushin style karate, which was the Iaido Musojikiden Eishinryu, which is more really focused on doing the kata, the fixed sword exercises on your own. And it's really about concentration just by yourself. No aggressive punching or kicking. It's just quietly training on your own kind of thing. And from there, he noticed he was going in the wrong direction in terms of martial arts and his karate. And he just really fell in love with Iaido. And he's been training in both. And he has students in both karate and Iaido today. So anyways, so karate is basically his main thing that he teaches. Of course, he has about 20 students in Iaido as well. So he is a very famous instructor in Kyoto. But the sad story that I recently heard from him, it was one day I was after the training. He always he always lets me ride his car actually, and he always takes me home. Our houses are really nearby, so he always takes me home. And on that car, he was explaining to me, Shogo, I had this really sad, frustrating event recently. And what it was is that one of the parents actually that he was teaching. He teaches karate mainly to kids, by the way. And he did actually this exam because he's really high dan rank. He is able to open these exams, or shinsa, we call them, to get to the higher Q, to the higher dan, which are the ranks, black belts and stuff like that, right? He's allowed to open up any exams on his own, yes. So he did that, yes, for his students, the kids. Yes, and it was actually the exam for the 1st dan. So it was an exam whether or not you'll be able to become a black belt or not. And especially in karate, because everyone can see you wearing that black belt, it's something really important, right? Yes. And compared to, well, like Iaido, I know that it's much more difficult to get a black belt in karate. Yes. And anyways, what he was saying is that he was really sad that I think it was like 5 or 6 students that actually took the test, the exam, but a few of his students, he could not let him pass. Of course, it's a test. If they fail, they can't pass and they can't get the black belt, right? That's pretty obvious. But what happened was that one of the children's parents actually went up to him and said, "How dare you not let my son probably not pass? Like, how dare you? I was going to write karate black belt on his resume for middle school, or I think it was like middle school, yes. So, sometimes you can take tests to go to better middle schools, right? And then you have to submit your name and all the things that you can do. If that makes sense, before you take the interviews, at the schools, you would submit these papers of yourself, what certificates you have, or so on and so forth. And in Japan, if you get a black belt in any martial art, you can write it actually on your papers, yes. And she was like, now I can't write black belt on his papers because you dropped him, yes. And you know what? And she continued, I was actually supposed to make him quit once he gets the black belt, because my purpose of letting him do karate was to get the black belt. Yes. So he can be easier to go into the middle school that she wants him to go into. Yes. So, and she also said, now I have to pay you another year of training, pay the money for the training. And we also won't be able to write, black belt on the papers. How dare you? How are you going to take responsibility for this? And I was like, oh my gosh, there was also a really sad incident that happened a few years ago where I think it was like 5 or 6 eighth dan. So that's like the one of the top ranked masters, instructors, right? Yes. Were actually got caught, I think. Well, definitely they were accused of actually paying money to be able to get to the eighth dan. Because just like Kendo, going up to the eighth dan, the passing rate of the exam is below 1%. It's like 0 point something, yes. And it's very, very low, but there was, just a few years ago, some people were caught because they paid a few million yen to be able to pass and get the eighth dan, yes, with money, yes. And, these things, especially recently, it happens a lot. And it's very, very sad. I mean, especially for... Well, we were just talking about karate in my episode, but also for Iaido too. It's very sad because when I trained Shorinji Kenpo in my university, my instructor would always tell me that you guys would never have occasions to go punch or do locks on other people outside. If you do, you will get caught, right? Yeah. So you're never going to be doing that outside in society. Then why are we making you train all this and make you train so hard? Is because we want you to be a better person. Yes. In the end, being better at punching or kicking is not going to be any good for you in society. But how it would be good for you, it'll make you a stronger person. Yes. And my instructor, I actually talked about this in one of my past podcasts, but he taught me that he wants us to be people that can choose when you are given an option of whether challenging it or not challenging it. He told us that he wanted us to be people who would always choose to challenge ourselves. Yes. And he said that this is what he wants us to learn from training in Shorinji Kenpo. And that's the same for me for Iaido. I made a video in my main channel talking about how Iaido changed my life. I explained that they're a true swordsman today, a true samurai, I could almost say, is not the people who can swing faster or has a higher rank dan or cut a lot of mats at once. That doesn't matter. That's just your hobby, basically. That's just, making yourself happy, just, what should I say, fulfilling your desire of approval, basically. What's really important is what kind of person you're becoming from it, right? Yes. Not the, I have a black belt in karate that you write on a piece of paper. No. Not the, hi everyone, I'm an 8th Dan Iaido master, that you go around and say to everyone. That's not the important part. That's actually making things worse, right? Yes. And I was just really, really shocked to hear this story from my instructor, my master, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. The thing that really makes me, what should I say, confused, not confused, but makes me, what should I say, really, I guess confused is the best way to say it, but, it's really difficult because it doesn't mean that we should just, take away all the dan system or the Q rank system in the first place, right? Yes. Because being able to have a goal to try to get to the next dan definitely does motivate you. Yes. And having a higher dan also should mean, at least, it should mean that you have more responsibility for the people who are in a lower rank or dan than you, in terms of you have to teach them, take care of them. You need to be a good example. Going up to the higher dan doesn't make you doesn't give you the privilege to be more bossy or stuff like that. It's actually giving you more responsibility. It's putting more weight on our shoulders, if that makes sense. It should be, at least. Yes. So anyways, the rank system itself is not the problem. Yeah. But then do I have like a good way to solve this problem? No, I don't. And that's the reason why I want advice from you. I would love to have conversations with you about this topic. But one thing that I personally do, though, as a martial art trainee, whenever I was doing Shorinji Kenpo or doing Iaido right now, I passed my second dan Iaido exam recently. But what I do is I never ever say my dan or my rank for myself. Yes. I think if someone asks me, I wouldn't hide it. That'd be a little bit weird too, so I wouldn't hide it. But going up to someone and suddenly saying you're done, like in your first self-introduction, which some people actually do, yes, is, I think, a little bit awkward. Yes, it's a little bit strange, to do. It's like the purpose of the rank is not for you to boast about it, right? Yes. So that is one thing that I always keep in mind, that I've never ever talk about my own rank or dan for myself. I only say it in conversation with someone else. Yes. So that's one thing I always keep in mind. And what else do you think? Do you have any ideas like how to prevent this from happening from the people, trying to use this dan system for them to look better or to write them on the resumes or things like that? What is a better way for us to actually focus on the real benefits of training in Budo or anything, any art or any music or tea ceremonies or anything? But yeah, I really just, because especially when I want to be able to teach Iaido in the future, I really need to be able to find an answer, have my own personal solution, which I know would always work, of course, but I do want to have an answer to this question before I actually start teaching, because this kind of problem is definitely going to be happening if I ever have students of my own. So yeah, if you're a Budo practitioner, please let me know in the comments if you ever had any similar experiences with the people who you train with or heard of before. And if you have any ideas yourself of how to prevent this from happening, maybe it might be the system, maybe it could be something personal that you do yourself, it'd be great if you could let me know. Yes. And thank you so much for listening to today's story as well. Okay? So then before we go, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true, yes, by making Japan a safer, more secure, and just simply a better place to come and enjoy, yes. I know that there are a lot of people who love Japanese culture and language and history and such, but as you see in my main videos, Japan is facing a lot of social problems and we're losing our traditional cultures from like what we talked about today, and also the younger generations are suffering from the social issues that Japan is facing. So I want to dedicate my life. Now, I don't have any answers to any of the things that I'm doing right now. I'm still just every day just studying, talking, having conversations with you and just trying to find a solution. I know that there must be something that we can do because I've never heard of a different returnee who grew up in the US for 6 years, was in China for an year, but fully Japanese, training in multiple traditional culture, Japanese traditional culture. I have never heard of such a person before. So I think that I'll be able to seek out a different path than the other things that have been taking place to try to solve these things. I might be able to see these things from a different perspective. Yes. So I want to try to solve the social problems, preserve and also evolve the traditional culture, and help out the younger generations, possibly by creating businesses where they can shine. Yes. And to do that, my my first step towards this huge dream is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023 for my main channel. Yes, so it'd be great if you give me likes and comments in my videos, which will help the videos be boosted to new people who have never seen my channel before. Yes, and if you'd like to support me even more, I have my membership in the description box for the main channel. Yes, so it'd be great if you can follow me there too. Yes, and from I don't know when I'll be posting this podcast, but I'll be doing the weekly podcast radio live stream too. Yes, from this week. So I hope you can enjoy that as well. I'm probably going to be doing it every Wednesday, I think. So I hope you can look forward to that. Yes, and Wednesday night in Japan time. So then everyone, thank you so much for listening. I'll be waiting for your comments. Bye-bye.